It's interesting how life has a total different meaning, either from the outside looking in or the inside looking out. And from the inside looking out, the majority of times you're kind of like in a movie, You're kind of like your eyes are basically like this big, massive screen. You're there in the audience and You're basically watching the whole thing displayed before you. Now, when you find yourself in any kind of a given situation as a person going through life, the outside looking in, it's probably a way better way to look at life because you basically begin to see everything from the outside. How much of it that's going on around and in front of you that actually has any validity. When you're on the outside looking in, it's kind of like you've left your body, you've kind of joined other people, you've become part of something that wasn't really, how can I put it, that you don't belong. You really, in so many ways, only belong to really what's going on inside of you. What's happening inside? Hmm? I think that's why countries have borders. You know, once they've kind of set up a certain a movement, something that's very good in their environment. They have rules, they have laws, they have statutes. They have the police. They even control that, right? I'm sure on the inside, you got certain things that'll go on that they need to address, right? And but on the outside, they have to prevent those on the outside coming in because they're bringing a whole different set of something that can unsettle the country. And it's the same for yourself. It's like the more that you are becoming a richer person on the inside, your values, not even just your values, but your values, which are valuables, right? It requires a high level of protection. People make this one mistake in life, and there's quite a few they make. But there was a story in the Bible of a guy named Hezekiah, king, and by the time that the other kings around Israel saw that Israel was really well off. And Hezekiah played a major role in it because, see, God seemed to have done more good and was allowed to do more good to the country because of the kings they had, right? And just getting back a little bit to whatever is ruling in your life pretty much determines what how well you're going to do and how well you're not going to be doing, right? Your values really mean, yeah, people can be in different states in their life, and that pretty much determines how good their country, I'm talking about your inside country, is going to be run and going to be working. Now, how God works at being at the helm, being the prime minister and president of your country, your inside world, he does it by you basically being his subject. And when you at some point decide that, oh, no, 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 wait a second, and there's the stories in the Bible about that too, that the people didn't want God to basically control them anymore or to be in control. As God is not out of control, as He's out to basically get us to willfully or willingly, I should say, just obey Him, right? That's where trust comes in. Now the thing is, when they asked for a king, and God said, "Okay, I'll give you a king," but He warned them and He said that this king will lay heavy burdens upon you, and he will basically make it really tough for you for the time that he's in power. I'll give you the king. You know what they still said? We want the king. We want him instead. We want a human king. And the king that they chose was a guy who was taller, pretty good looking, was refined, and they looked upon outward appearance. And they decided that was good for them. That was what made it's going to make their country successful, right? Getting back to this guy Hezekiah, he was a different king than Saul. This guy Saul, and when he was in power, he wanted to basically do what was right in the sight of the Most High. But he tripped into one thing. he got to be a little bit too nice. And what happened is that he invited the king of Babylon, which was really the enemies of Israel, right? But he invited the king into their environment. And he wanted to have a little bit of a friendliness with him, a little too friendly. And that's why you need to be careful about your country, the friends that you're going to allow into your country. The big mistake he made is he began to show all of his treasures, show off, probably more like it. Because he knew the king of Babylon basically was quite jealous, and he probably knew it, and like kind of like blown away, like, wow, they really are well off, and this is God doing this, right, for Israel. But he invited the king of Babylon to come into the inner areas where the treasures were, and he showed off all that they had. Big mistake. When he was finished being friendly and all nice and creating nice vibes with the king of Babylon, and the king of Babylon, a lot of ways, represents the devil or evil. That's going to come into your life, right? For the sake of peace, this was his mistake. For the sake of peacefulness and being a nice guy, he basically, he not only, how can I put it, he compromises the safety, his own safety, but everyone else in the country, in the camp. He compromised everyone. The king of Babylon went away, and what was unknown to King Hezekiah is the king of Babylon was also on a scrutinizing mission, a reconnaissance. He was there to check out a lot of things, not only the entryway, the ways they can invade the country, but he now knew where the treasures were. The Bible says that your heart is like treasures, right? And you've got to be careful about it, because out of it springs the issues of life, right? And as you, with your country, you got the two legs, wherever you go, goes your country. And every time you're looking out, you're going to have to interpret what's looking inside of you. The minute you step out from your country and you go beyond the borders into the other country, and a lot of ways it's enemy territory. Your body's there, but you will feel somewhere deep down inside that you've stepped into a zone that God, wisdom, did not want you to be. See, that's the biggest threat about our lives, and that's a perspective about our lives, is that we have to be really careful about where you're looking. Are you looking on the out? Are you looking from here, the country, and you're fully well aware of everything that you have, looking out? Or are you the kind of person step out from your country and start looking in with everyone else? Never join people so much that you're so in agreement with them that you put yourself in a compromising position. Because if you're a person that has value and you've had the valuables, there's going to be people coming after it. And one of the reasons how they come after it is because though you may not see what you're capable of, the ones who are most threatened to you can see it more because they don't have it. And they will find ways to abuse you, to use you, to take advantage of you, and to be your greatest threat in life. Because in the end, how they come after your treasures is they put you in activity to serve them. See, whereas a lot of people, will not give them the time of day, you're different. And that's your valuables. Jesus said, don't give holy things to those who are like scavengers and wild. He used the word dogs, but that's what he meant. Wild animals. Nor cast your pearls before swine. Because when he turned around and he says that they will trample upon it and turn around and tear you in pieces. The only way you can actually go and interact with scavengers and with swine is you have to step out from your country, because your country has a certain boundary, and that's the God boundary. around your life. That's where discernment comes in. That's where people call it the intuition, the or experiences that you've had that you don't want to be relearning in your life. So um, I don't know how as much as I was encouraging today. I would like to be more of this. Um, that your perspectives should be really initially from the inside looking out, because when you're there in the moment and you're in the inside, you observe so much differently. You observe deeply instead of being on the outside. And when you're on the outside, you've literally start sabotaging yourself. You compromise. You've stepped away from you. You've kind of allowed yourself to be open access. So I'll just leave you with that discussion for today, and you all have a good day. And rightful access is your table is only open to friends, and still then you don't show them your treasures. Don't show them what you're all about. Don't reveal too much. If you got worth and dignity, man, and even if you have a sum of money in your bank, you'll be amazed how many people are quite interested. Quite interested. It's better to be a bit of a suspicious person than a bit of an idealist, where you kind of think, everyone's okay. You know, things have changed, man. So be careful out there, and you all have a good day. And you know what? You can always have fun. The more careful you are, you end up having more fun because it saves you from those who will take your treasures of joy and peace. Like and subscribe. Thank you.